Does it ever seem to you like just trying to stay informed of the world leads to your head being filled with stories of the worst people doing the worst things? You just doom scroll social media or YouTube just looking for something to take the edge off? I hear you and I got you. Today we're going to talk about a few stories where the good guy wins. I'm not going to go in real deep on each one of these. They seem to have taken over YouTube and the internet over the last couple of weeks, and there's plenty of other creators out there that have broke down all the details, so you can go and find any one of them. I'm just kind of aggregating my favorite stories that made me kind of chuckle over the last couple of weeks. And first one, let's talk about the Afroman thing. I haven't heard Afroman's name in the news for years. If you don't know who he is, you're probably young, and he had a song in the early 2000s called Because I Got High. And I guess a couple of years ago, the cops broke into his house because they got a warrant because they thought he was trafficking drugs and kidnapping people or something stupid. But they broke his gate and they kicked his door in and were rummaging around his house when he wasn't home, but fucking shoving a gun in his kids' faces and stuff. And no charges were ever brought. And he went to the police department and politely asked them if they were going to pay for his new door that they kicked in, and they said no. So he took his surveillance footage of the cops going through all his stuff, looking for kidnapping victims in his CD cases. I don't know. I didn't find anything. So stupid. But he made videos from all the surveillance footage and wrote stupid songs about every one of the cops that was there invading his privacy. And the cops turned around and sued him for defamation. And they all had to go into court and say that these things were not true that he was saying. This ended up being a real big win for the little guy. And as silly as it all is, it's a real big win for freedom of speech. He looked amazing in his American flag suit and legally shoving it up the asses of those cops. The details of this case are hilarious if you want to go and check it out. The next story is the Drewski thing. He did whiteface and dressed up like a conservative woman. And now all of the conservative right-wing MAGA assholes are all up in arms because he's making fun of Erica Kirk. He never once says Erica Kirk in that video. And I didn't know who Drewski was, so I got to digging a little bit, and apparently he's the comedian that did the redneck thing at the NASCAR last year, and I remember seeing clips of that, and I never understood why it was a big deal. Now that I know that he's a black comedian, that makes that even 10 times funnier. And he just nails this Erica Kirk thing so good. She is such a narcissistic sociopath grifter that needs to go back and take care of her children. As much as I hate what Charlie Kirk stood for, those children lost their dad, and then now they've lost their mother to this right-wing grift, and it's just sad. The third story I wanted to talk about is about actor Alan Ritchson, I think is his name. You might know him from the TV show Reacher. He's a big He-Man of a guy. And a TMZ video came out of apparently looking like he was beating up his neighbor. And he was like, oh, that just looks one-sided. And the video, filmed from the perspective of a third neighbor, just made him look like a big bully. And he released the body cam footage because he was riding his motorcycle around their neighborhood. I think they live in suburbs of Tennessee, in Nashville or something. And he's riding his motorcycle around with his two kids with him. And this neighbor jumps out in front of his bike and, oh, you're speeding through the neighborhood and blah, 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 blah. Well, his speed is on his body cam, so it shows that he wasn't speeding through the neighborhood. And this guy just wouldn't let it go. Wouldn't let it go, wouldn't let it go, and then grabbed his bike and then he pushed him. And so Alan Richson jumps off his bike and pounds the guy a couple of times. Leave me the fuck alone. And turns out that the guy that got kind of beat up is somewhat of a MAGA grifter of sorts. And so reap what you sow, buddy. And the last story I wanted to talk about today is not so much a feel-good story, but it definitely made me laugh in kind of a morbid way. And I'll try to set it up as best I can. A quadrupedal amputee shoots his friend while driving a car. And it turns out the guy is a professional cornhole player. And the more details you learn about this story, the more questions you have. Apparently, the guy lost all his limbs to some kind of viral infection when he was 10 months old, but ended up being a very, very handy, capable person. He was a rock climber and he's a professional cornhole player. I didn't even know there was professional cornhole. Cornhole's that game you play at bars where you throw the little bean bags across into the hole. And I don't know how he drives a car either. I think he has one of those cars. He's have them set up with levers or something so they can drive. But after an argument, he shoots his friend in the passenger seat. His other two friends in the back seat, he asked them to help him get rid of the body, and they both split. So he dumps the body in a yard, and they can't even say, like, oh, can you see? This guy couldn't ever do something like that because there's videos of him shooting his guns and rock climbing and doing all the things that a person with all four limbs would do. And it's just crazy that, really, all four limbs amputated and you shoot somebody in the head and kill them in your car. I can't get over how freaking, of all of the weirdness of 2026, that is probably going to end up being the weirdest story of the whole year. Anyway, there's just a few things that made me smile over the last couple of weeks. Go and check out YouTube or the rest of the internet, and people have covered all of those stories a lot more detailed. And I just wanted to go over them, put them all in one video. So please subscribe to my channel, and my stuff will start getting better and better. And I love you. I'll see you on the next one.